3, 2, 1, 1. Welcome to True Health Tuesday, and the truth will set you free, as long as you're going to accept the truth. Okay, today, and this is the cool part. If you look at every disease on the planet, if you look at human beings, and this is the advice I give for anybody with cancer, chronic illness, disease, whatever, anything you do that helps your body reproduce itself and regenerate, that's good. Anything you do that breaks your body down early is bad. End of the talk. Oh. And then for the censored section, we're going to talk about the current interventions that are put in place. Are they based in science or insanity? God knows how many, and truly, God is the only one that knows. Anybody know what the restrictions are going to be next week? Nope, neither do I. Okay, so Dr. B VIP, that's a safe site so far. Of course, I thought Parlor was safe. They're gone. Okay, so get in there. This way you can get in, be part of the revolution. You're going to be able to get the PDFs and the URLs. And in English, that means that you can copy, cut, paste, and share this stuff. Because we got to share this, because right now the ship of freedom is not doing well. It's starting to sink. Extreme Health Academy is still one of the bastions of health. They censored a bit of our stuff on Vimeo. They wiped some of it out. We were able to get some of it back. But, you know, this is, I mean, we used to say censorship was a conspiracy theorist. Now it's just blatant. I mean, they're just out there. So I went to Texas this past week. And if you haven't flown during COVID, this is really unique. I had this this bandana, and it was down here so you walk around and breathe, you know, because breathing is good. Oh, and by the way, if anything that restricts your breathing, that weakens your immune system. Anything that helps your breathing helps it, okay? So my mask was down here, but when I'm sitting inside of the plane, it was up. And you know, I'm working on my PowerPoint, then I look up and my nose comes up. And one of the flight attendants said, "Sir, this is your second warning. I'm not going to write you up, but I could." And I thought, wow, first class is so different than it used to be. Thank you for giving me the out. Think of that. This is mind-blowing. Okay, this piece of cloth covering is going to protect I mean, it's just mind-blowing. So there's an effect on your immune system that I noticed is negatively affecting me, and it may be negatively affecting you if you're educated, okay? If you're educated that everybody is diseased in surrounded and you get close contact them, you will get COVID and die, that is a challenge. But if you're looking at these people to think that there's a problem, that they're weakening their immune system, and it bothers you, okay, it bothers me every time. So now I got a way to get out of that. Because nocebo is a consistent negative influence that really alters your cell production. Placebo is something that you think is good, but actually has a positive effect on you. So when you see someone wearing a mask, like when you see a little child riding a bike, or you see somebody skateboarding, and you know that's just putting them at risk, it's limiting their life. God bless you. May you find enlightenment and safety. God bless you. May you find enlightenment and safety. Because that's what they're looking for. They're looking for safety, they're looking for security, they're looking for protection, they're looking for compliance, they're looking for all of this stuff. So just throw out a prayer, and it's going to help your physiology eventually in the end. This is the key right here. The 5 things, this is what human life does. This is what all life does. All life has to assimilate nutrients. That means you have to take in something that your body can break down. And a human being is composed of protein, fats, carbohydrates, and you build all these structures out of it. So you are alive only because you're able to take those proteins and break them to amino acids. That's a building product. You're able to take fats, break them down to fatty acids, and you're able to take carbohydrates and break them down to usable sugars. Then you can make eye tissue, hair tissue, blood. I mean, because you're at sea of metabolic processes. So you have to take in the nutrients and utilize them. Does that make sense? 1. 2, you got to excretion of waste. So you got to get rid of the byproducts. You got to get rid of the stuff that you're not going to use. Plus, Your body is a cell-producing machine. You're producing about 1 billion cells a day. You're eliminating 1 billion cells a day. You know what house dust is? Mainly cells. Okay, so you've got to get rid of it. Growth. You have to grow new cells. Your skin is about 28 days old. Your blood's about 120 days old. So you're a continual process of breakdown and rebuild. And then you have to reproduce. You have to reproduce yourself. You have to reproduce your cells. You have to reproduce everything. I mean, literally every red blood cell you got, 6 million of them, are brand new every 120 days. I mean, it's a brilliant system. And then you have to adapt. Okay, this means that you're going to adapt to any environmental stimulus. Now, humans are found from the Arctic to the desert. Okay, and we're able to adapt, but you're also able to adapt with your immune system because you're going to continually get different challenges. How are we adapting? Not really well as a species. If we were looking at a herd of caribou and we said, wow, that herd of caribou, you got 1,000 in the herd, okay, and 10 have diabetes, okay, 10 have cancer. Would you go up in that 1,000 head of herd, would you vaccinate them all, or would you find out what the heck is going on with the 10? You know, I mean, let's just use common sense. Are you going to say, oh shit, it's genetic? No, they're caribou. They've been like that for a long time. Okay, wouldn't you look for the physical, chemical, or emotional stress? Because these are not diseases. These are a problem with assimilation, elimination, growth, rehabilitation, and adaptation. These are an adaptive disorder. They're a toxic and deficient disorder. And when you look at 1 and 2, not in this room, but if you look to the left and right, you're talking one of you guys is going to get cancer on the airplane. Okay, or in the movie theater. We're in California. Okay, you forgot. There used to be big screens and we'd sit and you'd have popcorn. It was amazing. But depression, dementia, I mean, we're looking at a 1 in 1 rate of dementia. So let's change this. Anybody know what the official cause of high blood pressure is? It's unknown. Unknown. Okay, what about type 2 diabetes? Unknown. High cholesterol? Unknown. Heart disease? You can say genetic, but it's not genetic, okay? It's unknown. So you're looking at most of these diseases. If you had a mechanic or this was a problem with your car and he didn't know what the cause is, but he had a shitload of therapies that could be toxic and kill you, would you find a new mechanic? Yes. Okay, so let's look at it from a different light. Maybe these are adaptations to a toxic and deficient environment. That makes sense. I mean, here's an article out of 2010. Many diseases with contemporary Western populations, obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure, all of these have to do with the Western-based diet. That means we're living beyond our norm. We're designed to live on this planet. We're designed to eat mainly plants because that's what's here. And we're designed to find homeostasis. So now in crazy psycho world, which is where most of the world is today, it's trying to solve the symptoms of stress or a problem. Okay, now one of my instructors, I'm a brilliant guy, talked about how darkness doesn't exist. Like, and everybody see that corner up there? Is it kind of dark? Is that really an entity? Can you measure the darkness? No, you can't. You can measure light. So the only thing is that is just a lack of light. So now disease, is disease an actual entity? Like, what does high cholesterol look like outside of your body? What is the shape of cancer outside of your body? Oh, it's not there. Okay, it's always an adaptation. So if you look at this, your body is always trying to achieve homeostasis. Like, let's say we sit you on an iceberg. Jess, I'll do it to you because you're my relative, okay? And I love you, man. Okay, so we sit this young, healthy guy, okay, contractor, so you know he's bulletproof, nails bounce off of him. Okay, we sit him on an iceberg, okay? After about 4 or 5 hours, he's going to start to shiver. And his body is going to constrict all the blood vessels to his arms, legs, and toes in order to maintain the homeostasis or the core temperature. If we continue to leave him on there, his body will continue to adapt to that harsh environment in order to keep his core alive. So, homeostasis, it's the property of a system that regulates its internal environment. Multiple dynamic equilibrium adjustments and regulation mechanisms make homeostatic possible. This is sweating, this is digestion, this is how you're going to adapt, okay? It's amazing. 500 years from now, just think about it. Do you think people will look on this time and think, my God, brilliant advance? We never thought of covering the face and limiting oxygen. And then lockdown, that was always a term for prisons. What a great idea to lock everyone in there. And in fact, since locking down is a pain in the ass in the prison, let's let them free and then lock them down in their homes. Yeah, brilliant. Okay, this is how the system works. You have an innate inborn intelligence in your body, just like the caribou, okay, or any other animal species. You have an adaptive. And this is something that you get through life. I mean, when you look at it, back when kids, anyone in here, when was the last time you coughed or sneezed in public? I know. Let's clear out a room. Achoo! Bam! Okay, we used to call them snot-nosed kids because kids, they didn't have a lot of exposure. I mean, back when I was a kid, you only had like 2 or 3 vaccines. Yes, Jess, we only had rocks and sticks to play with. Okay, but the kids, they would always have snotty noses. Why? Because their adaptive immune system, they're getting the viruses, funguses, bacteria, all of this stuff. And they're adapting, they're building their immune system. This is why, you know, kids raised in a home with dogs and cats and everything else have way less allergies than kids raised in a clean environment. And then you got the passive immunity. This is immunity that you get from generations, from your mom. The problem with that is now our moms have a weakened immune system, so they don't have that to pass on. So assimilation of nutrients. You've got this amazing digestive system, okay, that literally breaks the proteins to amino acids, fats to fatty acids, and carbohydrates to usable sugars. Now, 90% of the function of the vagus nerve, which runs this, okay, is sensory. It's sensory. So that means when you take something, it gets in the intestinal tract, it sends signals up to your brain to tell you how to optimize this or how to break it down. Now, the body needs nutrients to build cells, fuel activity, and repair damage. True or true? It extracts what it can from the food taken and passes the rest of it through the alimentary canal. Nutrients are also used to detoxify and flush out metabolic waste. Wow, is that why you take heavy fibers? Is that why you eat vegetables and plants so that it can actually work your intestinal tract? Then this is how you're designed? Yes. If you take things in your mouth that you can't metabolize, that is bad for you. No, I'm not just talking about McDonald's or Chick-fil-A, okay, but that is what people consider food. Just for shits and giggles, go out and get a McDonald's hamburger and put it on a shelf and see how long it lasts. We're talking decades. No bacteria can eat that sucker. Okay, so we look at this and we think, wait a second, dementia, now that's affecting 1 in 1. What kind of things does the CDC say can you do to correct that? Well, they say, increasing physical activity. Yes, Karina, they did close the beaches and the gyms. Okay, have a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. No, don't worry about it. They don't have that at McDonald's, but they are open. Maintaining social engagements. Yes, virtual. And participating in intellectually stimulating activities. And what do they say causes this decline in a human? And think of this. Does this alter the metabolism or the nutrients or how you reproduce cells? Medication. Yeah, those are mainly used for stress responses. They suppress the symptom. If you have high blood pressure because you're pissed, okay, and because you're working hard, by God, do I take a blood pressure to reduce that? Will that help oxygen in the brain or reduce it? Nutritional deficiencies? Oh, that's really good. Okay, for a year of this interesting adaptation of our government with society, okay, can't call it a pandemic or scandemic because it'll be wiped out, and I'm getting to where I am getting pissed, so I don't care. Okay, but they just came out, the CDC, they said vitamin D is good for you. Wow! Damn! After only about 40 years of research, these guys are sharp. Okay, infections, poisoning, brain tumors. Hypoxia, that means low oxygen. Geez, those things are not good for you. So again, anything that helps your body's processes is good. Anything that weakens it is not good. Okay, I don't want to go too fast. Non-steroidal anti-inflammatories. This is Advil, Motrin, Aleve. Okay, this is what you get for any kind of joint pain, headache, whatever. Okay, and knowing that you're walking around with a face covering, you have hypoxia, so this is going to cause it. So what do you get? From the doctor, you get the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory. Now, it does destroy the building product of cartilage, proteoglycan production, but it also causes nutrient deficiencies. Folic acid, how about birth defects? Vitamin C, how about everything? Weakened immune system. Calcium, okay, osteoporosis, and also problem with alkalizing, and iron. So that little Advil, Motrin, Aleve, the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory causes nutrient deficiencies. But wait a second, the only reason you're alive is because you're able to take in nutrients, you're able to assimilate them and build your body. Then we have glyphosates. Okay, Roundup. This is an antibiotic. It destroys your gut flora. It weakens your immune system. It's now listed as carcinogen. And they find glyphosate levels in the milk of in breast milk. So this means that we're passing this on to our children when they actually need to assimilate nutrients. They need to get those nutrients in. And this is legal. In fact, in our psychotic world, it was generally recognized as safe. It's called a GRAS label, okay? And we don't have any studies, but we think it's going to be okay. Okay, vitamin D deficiency. Look at these disorders. Are these diseases? Is digestive disorders a disease, or is it a nutrient deficiency or an adaptation to a toxic and deficient environment? Depression, mental disorders, brain dysfunctions, chronic infections, cardiovascular disease. Wait a second, these are vitamin D deficiencies? Damn, that CDC is right on. A little slow, but right on. Okay, magnesium deficiencies. If you have chronic stress, you have low stomach acid. What does that mean? That means if you're taking in nutrients, you can't absorb them because you need stomach acid. Is magnesium one of the important ones? Yes or yes. Okay, depression and panic attacks, osteoporosis, neurological disorders, fibromyalgia, headaches, all from a nutrient deficiency? Oh my gosh, maybe that is the key. Assimilation of nutrients, stuff that your body is designed. Oh God, what a great idea. And then this, every fruit and vegetable contains something that can inhibit your development of cancer, hardening the arteries, heart attacks, diabetes, allergies. Wait a second. If you're taking in fruits and vegetables, if you're assimilating those nutrients that you need to reproduce your cells and to cause elimination and growth and reproduction, if just fruits and vegetables can cause these diseases, their incidence to go down and be eliminated, does that mean that these diseases are actually adaptations to deficiency or toxicity? I know. Wow! That'll never make mainstream. Okay, excretion of waste. You're building 1 billion cells a day. That means you're killing 1 billion cells a day. So you've got this elimination. And this is why the heavy plant fibers are so important. But also, you're excreting waste through your sweat, through your breathing. I mean, that's a lot more than carbon dioxide going out there. It's going to be some bacteria, some cells, some everything. I mean, it's amazing. I know, I kind of want to grab it and just keep rebreathing it, but excretion of waste. The body needs to excrete metabolic waste of cellular activity and digestion, as well as remove toxicity and maintain optimal health and homeostatic expression. You've got to get rid of that waste in order to maintain your homeostasis, to maintain your body to regenerate. How do you do this? Well, you got 80% of your immune system is in your gastrointestinal tract. Of course, that means if you're drinking, glyphosate-soaked food or glyphosate-soaked milk or glyphosate-soaked bread, it's destroying the bacteria in the gut. Plus, if you're taking any medications, that has an antimicrobial effect as well. And you got 100 trillion bacteria. You got 4 times that amount of viruses. And in fact, a great study out of the Journal of Nature on how essential viruses are for our planet. I mean, my God, they're in water. They break down some pathogenic bacteria. They're vital for nutrients. 45% of your DNA is viral. That's amazing. And you have 4 quadrillion viruses in your body. Now, you know somebody out there is going to be rubbing Purell everywhere in their body because they want to get it out. Except without those viruses, you'd be dead. What kind of things disrupt your growth flora or normal flora? Antibiotics, okay. Vaccination, medications, and processed foods. Wait a second. Assimilation of nutrients, elimination of waste. And this alters your assimilation of the nutrients. Could these be the predicators of chronic illness and disease? Growth. What's growth? Why do people stop growing? You know, we still don't know why. There's going to be some inhibitory factors there, but it's amazing. Like, why does a stem cell go to an area and it can turn into anything? It can turn into bone or muscle or anything. We don't know. We're still monkeys beating a Ferrari with a stick. You know, you shoot it into a joint, and we do stem cells at our clinic in Mexico, but by gosh, we're not going to shoot a joint or anything else until we fix the underlying problem. This is why stem cells don't actually work most of the time. Okay, why? Because if you're trying to shoot a knee and you haven't restored the patellar tracking or the nerve supply to it or the biomechanics of the foot or stabilized the pelvis, so the gait is normal, okay, it's foolishness. You're going to regenerate a knee in a pathologic position. It's nuts. Growth. The body grows to a maximum size shaped in dimensions is dictated by the blueprint contained in its DNA. Wow, brilliant. So that DNA is a blueprint. Imagine, I mean, I'm just, you know, granted, this would probably be like a great sci-fi movie, but if you had a shot that could actually get a foreign viral protein inside of your own cells that would create a foreign spike proteins on the outside of the cell so your body could attack it. And then you had a suppressor RNA in there that suppressed what that cell was producing and caused it to produce something new. And it's never been tested on humans before. Okay, I know, it's just, ooh, goosebumps. Okay. Yeah, we got to watch the Dr. B VIP to get that joke there. Once the body achieves full maturity, then it maintains homeostasis by replicating itself year after year through cellular repair regeneration. Really brilliant. So your body isn't static. If I go in there and I take a picture of you 3, 4, 5 years from now, it's totally different. Every cell's changed. Your blood is brand new, your skin is brand new, your organs are brand new. They used to think that heart muscles weren't renewed until they did a study where they blew up a nuclear bomb in the desert and they saw radioactive particles and they found that even the heart cells replace. So your body is a cell-producing machine. If you produce healthy cells, you have health. If you produce sick cells, you have a lack of ease. Chiropractor would call it a dis-ease. How about this? We get 8 and 10-year-old kids in here with digestive disorders, ulcerative colitis. I've never seen that before. It used to take years of damage to get this. And now we're seeing it in kids. Why? Because of, do you really think our kids are that defective? Or do you think they're being raised in an environment that's not consistent with their physiology? Are they able to assimilate nutrients when they've got an inflammatory bowel disorder like this? Are they able to excrete waste? No. So what do we see? We see red skin, I mean bloated abdomens, poor, what about their mental state? I mean, it's horrible. This is a third of my practice. Reproduction. Your body has to keep reproducing the cells. But also, the body replaces itself on a continuum to maintain that homeostatic expression over time. Now, all cells wear out within a given time frame and need replacement by new cells. Thus, the body is always producing itself year after year. It also needs to reproduce itself in the form of having offspring to ensure survival of the species. Absolutely it does. And I'm telling you, in the 60s, they used to have problems with people getting pregnant. Okay, then they came up with a pill, you know, which is a synthetic hormone that caused a shitload of problems. But now, have you seen fertility clinics everywhere? Interesting. So does that mean our species is so toxic that we're having problems reproducing ourselves? Yeah, so this is a species problem. This is not aging. This is the body breaking down faster than it's building up. If that happens, you have disease. And what causes that? Do you have a problem with assimilation of nutrients? Maybe. Elimination of waste? Maybe. Growth? Maybe. Reproduction? Maybe. Adaptation? Hell yes. These people are not adapting to their environment. Okay, now if we go back to the caribou example, okay, they've been living in that environment for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Okay, do they have a problem adapting to it? No. Humans have been living on this planet for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, living and surviving. What's the problem now? Drugs that kill that reproduction. Contraceptives, antihistamines, and nonsteroidal anti-inflammatories. Now we know that those cause nutrient deficiencies, so a lot. Antidepressants, anxiety drugs, blood pressure drugs, cholesterol, antacids. Do you think that assimilating these medications causes your cells to reproduce healthy cells? Or are these medications designed to suppress your adaptation to stress? Okay? Are these drugs assimilated in the body so that your body can come strong and healthy, or are they suppressing a stress response based on nutritional deficiency or toxicity? Second one. Absolutely. You know, you start looking at it, you're going, well, that's dumb. Adaptation. The body needs to continually to adapt to its ever-changing environment in order to survive and express its greatest homeostatic potential long-term. We are designed to live 120 years. Designed. You make it to 130, 140, bitchin', good for you. But how do you do that? Because you've able to assimilate nutrients, reproduce yourself, and adapt to the environment. Is that true or true? Abso-friggin-lutely. If you're dead at 30, you're sick at 30, you're depressed at 30, you've got anxiety, stress, you've got some weird disease, fibromyalgia. Is that a problem of your genetics? Okay? Or is it a problem of you right now, in this moment, able to break down those nutrients and assimilate them, eliminate the waste, get that growth, get that repair? Does that make sense? So these diseases, my God, it's not, to deal with just the symptoms doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's insane. Now, now this is important. This guy won the Nobel Prize. What he was doing, he was finding out that when you're injecting somebody with a vaccine or a protein, and that's you know, common practice now, that if you get a foreign protein in the bloodstream, your body reacts abnormally. It reacts like it's a pathogen. And he developed the term anaphylactic, and that's what they're seeing now with this current experimental device. You can't call it a vaccine that's going around. It's an experimental device because it's not designed to prevent transmission. It hasn't gone through all the studies. It's an emergency use authorization, so it's not really approved for the public. So if you're signing up for it, you are getting an experiment, and you are, you know, trusting the government and the pharmaceutical industry, which I mean, that's a different belief system. It is a religion. Okay, I believe in God and a bunch in the beauty of humans. Okay, you can believe in the Fauci thing. We are so constituted that we can never receive other proteins into the blood other than those that have been modified by digestive juices. Every time an alien protein penetrates by a fraction, the organism suffers and becomes resistant. And this is called anaphylactic. This is what we're seeing. Anytime that you shoot something in, that it bypasses this area, okay, can cause that response. So why are allergy rates rising? And this is what we're going to talk about next week. Think of what an allergy is. So the last of the 5 keys, okay, is adaptation. How many caribou are allergic to their environment? I know. We've all seen National Geographic. They're eating the grass, and then they sneeze, and then all the caribou run away from that one sick caribou. I know. Yes, they are smarter than humans, okay? Okay, because they're in harmony with their environment. This is a failure to adapt. This means that you take in a food and your body responds to that food. You cannot not only assimilate it, but it responds like it's a pathogen, like it's trying to kill you. That's insane. Now, what causes this? The hygiene hypothesis, vaccines, toxic food, genetics. We're going to go over that a lot. But the biggest thing is the gut flora. So anything that damages that gut flora, that's 80% of the immune system, is going to negatively affect your response to the environment. And in fact, you've got viruses, funguses, and bacteria in there. If you take anything that damages the bacteria, or if you're in a bacteria-free environment, let's say you're washing your vegetables with Purell. No, it is being done. It's sick and crazy. Okay, but what's that going to do to your intestinal tract? Okay, now if you wipe out the bacteria, you've got these funguses that are going to start to bore holes in the intestinal tract. Okay, they got these big long tendrils called hyphae. And then that's going to allow undigested proteins into your system. And so then you get the undigested proteins in the system, your immune system is going to respond to it, just like the Nobel Prize winner. And this is called an inflammatory response. And so if you're taking casein, you're getting an allergy to dairy. You take gluten and you get an allergy to gluten. So how many people are gluten sensitive now? Man, thousands and thousands. And this has been a substance that we've been utilizing for decades. Now, they have modified the gluten, okay, they modified the wheat. We're no longer taking the ancient grains. I mean, some of us are, okay, but it's also the processing of things. So this is interesting that in 1980, 10% suffered from allergies, 2010, 30%. I think the latest statistics is 45 to 50% allergies. And this is a failure to adapt to the environment. It's a failure to be able to assimilate the nutrients. This is a failure of our society. So we've got to learn where this stuff comes from. And it's not hereditary. Okay, we never would have made it here by a species. Now, we're going to change this now to the version that, to the information that would normally be completely censored immediately. We're going to talk about the interventions that have been done to you. But Viktor Frankl, now this is important because if you're thinking right now that currently the society is crazy, that it will go back to normal, it will not. It will not. But you do have freedoms right now that you can get into. Everything can be taken from a man, but one thing. The last human freedom, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. And we can. So when you see somebody that's doing an activity that you know is harmful, and it just rips your inside apart because you really dig humans, you're part of the family, and just go out there and give them love. Okay, it's not easy. That's Gandhi stuff. Okay, but God bless you. May you find enlightenment and safety. Okay, does that make sense? Okay.